Welcome to HAPA英会話 Podcast with Jun Senesak, episode 254. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Jun here with HAPA英会話. Today, I have a special guest on the show. His name is Atsu, and many of you may know him from his popular YouTube channel, Atsueigo. In today's interview, Atsu shares his key principles for learning English, his unorthodox study methods, common mistakes he sees Japanese people make when learning English, how being a perfectionist has actually helped him become a proficient English speaker, and much, much more. Without further ado, please welcome Atsu. What's up, Atsu? Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how's it going?
I've got to say, man, I am super excited about this interview. Can you tell me about yourself, Atsu?
Sure. So my name is Atsu, and I'm the owner of Atsueigo, which is an English channel on YouTube. I was born and raised in Japan, and I went to a university in Japan. And when I became the age of 22, I made a move to Australia to do a master's degree in accounting because I wanted to specialize in accounting. And after graduation in 2014, I moved to the city of Melbourne, which is the city I'm living in right now. And I've worked for a company called Deloitte Toshio Tomatsu, which is one of the biggest accounting firms in the world, as a public accountant, and I'm here in Melbourne.
You know, Deloitte is one of the big fours that I was trying to get into when I was 21, 22 years old. You know, that was actually a dream of mine at the time. I was working really hard in college because back, you know, at my UCSB Santa Barbara days, getting into the big four was something that I was trying to accomplish. So it's kind of cool that you're actually working there right now. We have a bit of a connection right there, huh? I thought an interesting place to start our interview today is about the story you shared with me.
Right. Yeah. So to be honest with you, right, I had no interest in studying in general until the age of like 17, until I became a second year student in high school. And I was actually trying to become a beautician just because I thought it was going to be kind of cool, right, if I could become a beautician. And, you know, I didn't really think really carefully being just a mere high school student. I didn't really think carefully about like what I really wanted to do in the future. But I don't know why, but my dad said that my dad is such a quiet person, to be honest, but like he just mentioned to me that he would give me 100,000 Japanese yen if I, you know, get into a top 10 students in my high school in the upcoming end term exam. And I was like, I didn't really understand why he said that, but it was such a big incentive for me, especially because, you know, 100,000 Japanese yen is such a big amount of money. And considering my allowance was just like 5,000 yen a month when I was a high school student. So like, I was like, oh, this is just such a great once in a lifetime kind of opportunity I need to grasp. And that was a moment when I started taking things really seriously when it comes to studies, not because I wanted to become a bright student or I was like attracted to English subject or whatsoever. I just wanted to get the money, right? And then I strategized and my plan to make sure that I can actually achieve the goal within that short period of time, because I only had like two months to prepare myself. And I think that was a time when I also started thinking about things like quite logically, because that's become kind of my current style to tackle this language, English. So I was successfully able to become a top 10 student, thankfully, thanks to making a lot of effort and, like I said, strategizing all the plans and tactics. And then, of course, I got that 100,000 Japanese yen. But that wasn't really the end of the game, because I felt like among all those subjects that I had to study for, like including history, mathematics, and so on, I thought English was like one of the most practical and useful subjects that I could actually leverage in order to explore the future.
So how did you spend that 100,000 yen?
I bought some clothes, like expensive clothes, because I'm a big fan of clothes.
So you blew 100,000 yen on clothes?
Yep, pretty much.
Through the process of learning English,
Yep.
what has been the biggest challenge for you?
That's a difficult question because I've never thought that there were like big challenges in my journey. I'm a kind of person who takes things quite positively. So I don't think I've ever actually come across a big challenge. But I think generally speaking, not being able to have an opportunity to speak English in Japan tends to become a challenge for a typical English learner. But I think, now that the world has advanced technologically and there are so many services that you can use, like a platform where you can have an online English conversation lessons quite easily. I think nowadays that typical issue is gone. But I think to me at a time, I think not being able to find such an opportunity quite easily was sort of a challenge. But I think that was it. I think it's just like at the end of the day, right? It's just a matter of mentality. Like if you take things positively, there will be less challenges in your journey and you can grow quite rapidly thanks to that. So yeah, that's my view on that.
How did you overcome that? I mean, obviously, that is a big challenge. And it is a big challenge to a lot of people in Japan till this day, even though, with the Skype and the internet becoming much more accessible to a lot of people to communicate with people in the world. Obviously, at the time you were going to college, maybe it wasn't as widespread to, log in to Skype and connect with people. So how did you overcome that?
Well, actually, there were a couple things that I did, but one of them was to speak English to myself all the time. So